Hey, this is Mrs. Luce here. We're going to be talking about probability and heredity. It's a brisk fall evening and the stands are packed with cheering football fans and it's almost time for kickoff and the crowd becomes quiet as the referee is about to toss a coin. The outcome of the coin toss is going to decide which team gets to kick and which receives it. The captain of the Aurora team says heads. And if the coin lands with heads up, Aurora wins a toss and they're right to decide whether they want to kick or receive the ball. What is the chance that Aurora will win the coin toss? Well, it's a principle of probability. So, what is probability and how does it explain the results of genetic crossings? Okay, probability is a number that describes how likely it is that an event will occur. And actually, it's usually a couple of numbers. So, some examples would be a coin toss, a die toss, or a spinning wheel. What are the odds, is what a lot of people would say. So each time you toss a coin, you have two possibilities, heads or tails. Each of these two events is equally likely to occur, so it's 50-50 or 1 in 2 or 1/2. The laws of probability predict what is likely to occur, not necessarily what will occur. So if you toss a coin 20 times, you would think it would land heads up 10 times and tails up 10 times. But if you were to try it, you'd find out a little bit different. When you toss a coin more than once, the result of one toss doesn't affect the results of the next toss. Each event is independent. So each time you pass a coin, it still has the 50-50% chance of being heads or tails. So each individual toss doesn't affect the previous tosses. So how do we relate this to genetics? To answer this, you got to go back to Mendel and his experiments with the pea plants. Remember when he crossed two plants that were hybrid for stem height? This would be that F1 generation going into the F2. He ended up with 3 tall plants and 1 short plant. So the odds were 3/4 of getting a tall plant and 1/4 of getting a short plant. So you could say it was 3 in 4 or 1 in 4. Mendel was that first scientist to recognize that the principles of probability can be used to predict genetic crosses. So we use the Punnett square to help us understand the laws of probability and how we can apply it to genetics. And this is a chart that shows all the possible combinations of alleles that can result from a genetic cross. In a genetic cross, the allele that each parent will pass on to its offspring is based on probability. So the crossed hybrid plants with round seeds, he discovered 3/4 of them had round seeds. The remaining 1/4 of the plants produced wrinkled seeds. So here's a Punnett square that shows that. 2 round parents, but they're hybrids, will produce mostly round offspring with the odds of a few having that recessive trait. Remember that the dominant allele always masks the recessive allele. Only plants with the little r combination are going to have those wrinkled seeds or the recessive trait shown. So predicting probability practice. If you were to cross a purebred black guinea pig, that's big B, and a purebred white guinea pig, little b, the allele for black fur is dominant over the allele for white fur, so only one allele combination is possible in the offspring. And so you could write a Punnett square right now and figure that out. It's actually 100% possibility that the offspring is going to have black fur. So a couple more vocabulary words that you need to know are phenotypes. I think of phenotypes like physical, P-H, physical. It's the organism's physical appearance or its visible traits. What does it look like? Genotype is what is the gene? What is back there making the phenotype? So that's the genetic makeup or the allele combination. So phenotypes, some examples, smooth pods, pinched pods. The genotype for smooth pod could be big S, big S. The genotype for smooth pods could be big S, little s. Or for pinched pods, it could be little s, little s. So phenotype, word, physical description, genotype, alleles representing the genes. So scientists use two additional terms to describe an organism's genotype. We talked before about purebred and hybrid. Now we're going to talk about homozygous, which is an organism that has two identical alleles for that trait. We could also call it a purebred. Or heterozygous. That's an organism that has two different alleles for that trait, and another word for that would be hybrid. There's also something known as codominance, and we're not going to get into it a lot in 8th grade. You can get into it further in actual genetics and actual biology. This is where the alleles are neither dominant nor recessive, and both are expressed in the offspring. If you think back to the kittens and their fur color, this could be a codominance type of situation where it doesn't inherit just one gene from one parent that's expressed. So anyway, I hope this helps you understand genetics a little bit better. And until next time, bye for now.